Today, I want to share with you how I consistently stay fit even when I work more than 80 hours a week. When life gets busy, health is one of the first things that people drop. And I have made that mistake too. But I soon realized that is one of the things that you can't really afford to take out of our lives. In this video, I want to show you the systems that I personally use for my life to work 80 hours a week and never fall off track with my gym routine and also with my gym goals. And before I just break down the systems that I use for my own life, I want to give you a snapshot of how my life looks like. So it's not theory what I'm just telling you to do here. It's just basically what I do for my own life. My name is Lucas. I just help busy entrepreneurs to get in shape, boost their performance, and actually start seeing fitness as something that boosts their business and not something that actually takes time away from it. For most of my life, I worked 10 hours a day in construction, and I was just working under the sun, doing that physical and hard work, and I was just getting home and working another 3 hours here on my business. That ends up being like a 30 hours day work. And I also work on the weekends as well because I still have to do the steps for my business. So I work another like 8-10 hours a day on Saturday and Sunday. So I totally understand when you say your schedule is packed and you can't really keep up with your gym goals. But with all that busy schedule, I have built like systems in my life that just keep me consistent, energized, and also in shape. And it all starts with one simple thing. Just pick up the days that you're actually going to the gym and just make them non-negotiable in your routine. The first thing that I do is just I organize my week on Sundays. So I know exactly which days I'm going to be going to the gym, which days I'm not actually going. And right now my workout schedule is on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Friday, Saturday, and also Sunday. So those days they are locked into my routine. So I can't really take out of that because they're so important for me. I need to train. I need to do my workouts. And you don't have to go 5 days a week like I am doing. If you only have 2 days or 3 days, that's more than enough to get started. The most important thing is just to decide which days of the week we are actually going to the gym. That small decision just removes all the chaos before the week starts and just eliminates all the inconsistency about your workouts. And then you're gonna see that you don't need that extra motivation just to go to the gym because you already have the schedule, you already know the days that you're going, and you have to go. Just keep the promise to yourself. The second thing that I always have in place is my nutrition. I try to keep that as simple as possible and also in an automatic mode. What I mean by that is I basically eat the same thing every single day. I normally change some meats here and there, but I do that on purpose because I don't want to be thinking what am I going to be eating next, because there is always an energy that you put right there just to decide what you're going to eat. Can you imagine like every single dinner you come home and then you start thinking, oh, what am I going to be eating today? And then you start thinking about what you're going to be eating, and then you don't know what you're going to be eating, and then you actually give yourself a chance to fail. Because if there is nothing ready, if there is nothing health ready, you'll be more likely to jump on junk foods or something that is off your diet. So that's why it's important just to have everything organized. So if you've got someone to cook the food for you, that's amazing. In my case, I don't have anyone to cook for me, so I just pick up one day of the week for me to cook my food for the whole week. And in my schedule, it happens on Sunday. So I spend 2 to 3 hours in the kitchen on Sundays, and it saves me so much time by just doing that on Sundays. The third thing that I do in my life is just to make these habits easy to build. So I make these healthy habits something easy to follow in my life. What I mean by that is, when I go to the gym, all my gym clothes are ready for me to go the first thing in the morning. So I don't have to spend time thinking what I'm going to be wearing or if there's something that I might forget about it. So I always pack my bags one day before. I always have my meals ready to go. I've got like my protein shake ready to go with me as well. So all the health choices are easy to be done. And that's how habits actually stick in your life. You don't need to actually rely on discipline all the time to do those things that you don't feel like doing them, but you know that you have to do them. But once you form those habits, once these things just becomes part of a routine, everything just becomes easier and it just becomes normal to you. So that's why it's important to push through those first weeks that it feels uncomfortable, because when you are trying to implement some health habits in your life and you have never done that before, it always takes time for you to get used to it. And a lot of people, they just quit here because it feels uncomfortable and they say, oh, that's not for me, I hate it. But it's normal. I didn't like it at first, but that's when discipline comes, because you know that's going to be good for you and you have to stick with that until this whole process becomes a habit. And then also becomes a habit, it makes this thing to feel so much lighter and easier to follow. And before you jump into the next point, I would love to mention that I have created a free community for busy entrepreneurs who want to get in shape and also to boost their performance. And it's free to join. And the first 50 people who actually join the community, I will be creating a free personalized workout for you. Yeah, that's right. I will be making your free workouts based on your routine and actually your busy schedule. But remember, these are for the first 50 people who actually join the community. The link here in the description or in the first pinned comment. The fourth thing that I did with my life is just to make the gym to fit easy into my day. Before I started building my business, I was working out at night after my work. So I was just leaving the construction job and going to the gym. But then also I decided to actually start working on my business and create this was a side hustle at the time. Now it became my business. I actually needed those hours after my work to work on my business. So I had to change my gym schedule. And the only thing to do that was just to put this gym routine before I go to my 9 to 5. And my 9 to 5 was just, construction start very early. So I was starting my job at 6:30 in the morning. So I had to go to the gym before going to work. And in the first week, it was just very hard because I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning to go to the gym. It felt very uncomfortable. I thought I was just very weak to lift weights, but then I just realized that that was the only way to do it. So I just managed to actually find ways to lift heavier and just to become this new habit as something normal. It took, a couple of days for me until I get that ready, but it all happens here in your mind, Once you put that in your mind, that's it. That's my routine. I have to make this work. I have to be able to lift heavy weights, even when it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. And then that just feels normal for me now. So it might feel weird in the beginning because it happened with me. If you're just like, if you have to change your schedule for like, very early in the morning, I know it's hard to wake up that early. And I'm not saying that it's just easy, but you get used to it. As any habits that are gonna be formed into your life, it's gonna feel uncomfortable in the beginning, but it will get easier. Trust me. Trust me. Number 5, I just cut out all the distractions of my life. I was just running out of time and I had to prioritize a lot of things in my life. First, I just put the gym as something very important that I can't really take out of my routine, and that I had time with family and also work, my 9 to 5, and also, building my business. And I just cut off all the going out with friends. I usually try to go out every single weekend, but then also I realized that building my business was the most important thing for me. I just stopped all those distractions to get into my life, and I started saying no to everything else. So in the last 3 to 4 months, I haven't been doing anything apart from going to the gym, going on my 9 to 5, and working my business and going out with my family. That's it. That's basically how my life is nowadays. And I'm happy with it. I'm seeing a lot of progress and I know it pays off. No, I can say to that. It's gonna be worth it. The last thing that I want to mention to you is just to keep the promise to yourself. It's so important to keep the promise to yourself. If I say that I'm gonna go to the gym, I am going. If I say that I'm gonna be sticking to my diet, I am gonna be doing it. It's not because it's not for anyone else. It's just because of me. It's always that battle with myself. I always want to win the war against my mind, because your mind is gonna tell you sometimes to do something else. So, oh, it's okay if you don't go today. If it's okay if you just go there, eat that burger tonight. But it's always me making the last decision. It's not my mind. It's not what my mind is telling me to do. And if I don't do that, I start failing with the promise to myself. And then this new habit that actually forms into your life, that's basically how your brain is going to be wired. You just send a message to your brain that it's okay to fail, because if you're just failing to yourself, you're going to fail to the others as well. So sometimes it's just like you don't see that, but it happens because that's how your brain is wired. So that's why it's important just to keep this promise to yourself. If you say that you're going to the gym, you go. If you say that you're sticking to the diet, you do that. So it's just completely changed my life, not just to go to the gym, but also in other aspects of my life, because it's kind of like this mindset is just spreads to the other areas of your life, and this whole thing, this whole process just becomes easier, especially, if you're running business, dealing with someone, if you got like, a deadline to follow, you always keep that deadline, it's just like, it's very unlikely that you're going to start failing with others when you don't fail with yourselves. Because once you start failing, it just becomes normal. And that's something that we don't want to happen at all. So that's basically the systems that I do with my life when I work more than 80 hours a week. And I'm not like a special person. I've just built these habits, these systems, and this routine, and I just made it something easy to follow. And if I came to that with my full-time job, running a business with a family, you can do that with yourself too. Just start small, stay consistent, and keep the promise to yourself. And if you want more support, just make sure that you join that community. The links are here in the description or in the first pinned comment. And I hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you on the next one.